Hello friends! Today on Queen Deluxe we are going to make an 1880s cage bustle. I'm using a theatrical technique and two source materials and sort of combining them to make what I want. It is for my dress from Foundations Revealed contest, this thing. I will link my little submission video down in the comments. Let's make a bustle. These are the two books I'm using. I will link them in the description box below. They do go in and out of print. This is kind of what we're working on today. Both of the patterns are very similar. I'm using the honey set like base pattern. It's a little bit shorter and a little easier to put together. So I'm using that one, but I am using sort of the bone channel placement from the Corsets and Crinoline Nora Waugh book. And that's kind of how I'm combining the two. The Nora Waugh has the two bones that cross at the very top of the bustle. They're a little closer to the waistband, so I'm using that placement. What that does is it causes the bustle to be fuller right away, like right off the waist, so that we get a kind of that shelf-like bustle shape that I want. Now that my pattern is complete, I am cutting it out of this black satin polyester that I have. It is not historically accurate, but it will hold up well, and I think the satin will be nice when the skirts are on top. It will slide off the bustle and won't cause any, I guess, sticking of any kind. I am now marking my seam allowance and my seam lines and cutting it out. I have marked my bone channels with some wax transfer paper. I'm doing a flat felled seam on this sort of center back section here on the bone channel. So I've cut one seam allowance smaller and I will fold that under and top stitch. I have done it on the control panel already, so this is kind of what it looks like. It'll help the bones to just slip right over that when they get inserted. Now it's time to put the bone casings on. I have chosen a twill tape. I'm sewing as close to the edge as possible. I bought a little bit too narrow of a twill tape, and I'm trying to cheat it as best I can so I don't have to rebuy something. So I'm using my zipper foot to be right on the edge so I'm not wasting any space in this channel. I would just suggest buying a wider tape. Now I am putting in some gathering stitches across the top of the bustle, 2 rows. Now I am roll hemming the very front edge of the little extension piece. It sits right at side front. I am doing a small pleat that was in the pattern, so I'm just stay stitching that in place so that when I am ready to do the waistband, it's all ready to go. This is where I am. I have sewn all of my channels on for the boning all the way down. You can see my stitching here. I have run some gathering stitches at the top. I have overlocked these two together. So these are the side front bits that wrap around, and this is the back with the channels. This is the under back part that's going to control the tightness and create the bustle shape. And then I have the ruffle bit that is going to be going along this bottom edge to kind of buffer that edge under the skirts. I have serged everything because the stuff was so ravelly, it was going away by the second. So, and this is more of a theatrical way to do this. This is not historically accurate. This is definitely a theatrical version of a bustle, which I'm fine with because the rest of, like, you're not gonna ever see it, and I feel like it should hold up. And the fabric I chose that I had to make this out of is very ravelly, so we went with serging. All right, so I have my back bustle bit, I have the little side wings, and then I have the control panel. And I'm going to be sewing that at 1/2 inch. All the way down. All right, so I've got my twill tape. I have gathered down the bustle section to the control panel, and I'm just throwing this twill tape right on top as my waistband, and it'll just tie center front. I have hemmed this ruffle piece, which I think you saw some of, I hemmed that, and then I have pleated it up, stitched it together so that it is in one thing and easily maneuverable. Pressed it into the pleats all the way to the hem loosely, and then I have marked up here 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, something like that, that are going to line up the top of this guy with those marks. And so then I will top stitch right along my stitch line here, and that will attach this. That is above my bottom casing line, so it won't get in the way of that bone. And I still haven't put any bones in. It is still a limp thing. And so then I will turn it inside out and put all the bones in. All right, it's time to cut the boning. So I have some hooping wire here. It's sprung steel. So what I did was I'm going to do this second to the bottom. I marked it, so this is half of the bustle. So I did a little mark, and then I moved this over, and then I have marked where that goes. I have my tool. This is the second bone, so I put a little 2 there. I'm putting this on the table so that I can use the leverage of the table. Ugh. I'm going to put it way back in the throat of those, and I cut. And then I'll get my Dremel out and we'll file this off to make it nice and smooth. After I ground the bones to be not sharp and everything, I dipped them in Plasti Dip on the ends and inserted them into the bustle. I have left one side here open so that they can go in. Now this stuff does cause a little bit of resistance because it's plasticky and kind of a little bit sticky. I did not film me struggling to put the bones in. My casings are a little bit too tight. I got them in, but they are a little tighter and than I would have liked. My twill tape was a little bit too narrow. I didn't calculate that right. So buy a little bit wider twill tape or bias tape when you're making those casings. But they're all in there, and then so this is what it's inside out, the back control panel, and then this part, and then you just flip it inside out. There we go. Lobster tail bustle. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you learned something. If you did, please like and subscribe, hit all the buttons, do all the things. If you want notifications, be sure to hit that bell. And that way YouTube will notify you when I upload a new video. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye!